where President Emmanuel Macron has put responsibility on Parliament to negotiate a broad coalition reflecting France's republican institutions to break the stalemate following an inconclusive snap election. Nobody won, Macron said in a written message to voters published in French regional newspapers about the election. Stuart Smith has the latest update from Paris for us as French President Emmanuel Macron calls on the country's political factions to form a coalition with a solid majority.
For the first time since the shock result on Sunday, Emmanuel Macron, the President of France, has given his outlook as to where the guardrails should lie with regards to how a government should be formed. He says, "I ask all political forces that recognise themselves in Republican institutions, the rule of law, parliamentarianism, a European orientation and the defence of French independence to engage in a sincere and loyal dialogue to build a solid, necessarily plural majority." So in that statement, a few lines being made clear about what Macron would like to see with regard to the new government. He says, first of all, that no one has won, which sounds uncontroversial. Indeed, no majority was formed, which is why this is difficult in the first place. But by saying no one has won, that goes against what the large left bloc has been saying since Sunday, which is that it won. It did receive the greatest number of votes, and it has been arguing, therefore, it should have the right to choose what kind of government is formed and be able to nominate someone within its ranks for Prime Minister. Another interesting thing that Macron said in his letter, Republican bloc, a signal that he would not be happy for a coalition to exist that includes what he describes as the far left, such as France Unbowed, nor the far right National Rally, the party that all this tactical voting was designed to prevent getting into government. And then the final thing he suggested was that there will be a little time for political forces to build these compromises. So no hurry, Macron is saying, to create this government, which necessarily will take a huge amount of debate to form. We've seen throughout the week since those results were first made public that there has been a lot of members of parliament ruling out working with some blocs and suggesting their preferred approach would be best. So for example, lawmakers within the centrist bloc saying they'd be happy to work with the conservative right, but then other lawmakers within the centrist bloc saying they would leave and would vote against any kind of coalition with the right parties. Similarly, the left has said, the far left, France Unbowed, has said it would not work with any of Macron's candidates. So a huge amount of disparity in how the future may look, no agreement whatsoever at this stage, and not even a clear picture as to who may have the confidence of all of these various political groupings to take charge. We'll learn more on July 18th, next week, when the first session of the new Legislative Assembly comes together, which could also be the first time that the government, which has been asked to stay on since the past election as a caretaker government, it may face its first challenges then, if MPs aren't happy to let Gabriel Attal, the former Prime Minister, carry on even in a caretaker role. Stuart Smith, NDTV, Paris.